Hello, this is Dr. Shubha from Vasavi College of Education, Pondicherry. This is about creating an inclusive school. We are dealing with Unit 2, Part 1. Unit 2 talks about challenges and prospects of inclusion education, disability, 5-year plan allotment. Challenges and prospects of inclusion education. Actually, we dealt with this topic in Unit 1 also. Dash indicates that the causes for failure of special needs children. See, there are so many causes. The first one, let us talk about the deficiencies within the child who is a special ed kid. Now, the child may lack motivation, that is, he or she did not want to learn a concept or go to school like that. And deficit work habits. Deficit work habit means suppose a normal child will be toilet trained properly, but this child may not be, and how to have personal hygiene. So all such things will not be there. The work habits will also be not there, like drawing as a small circle or some figure. So, and even if he draws a figure, it may not be proportionate, so the ratio will not be proper. Like if at all he draws a face, then the eyes, one eye will be small, one eye will be big, so deficit work habits will be there. Then poor interpersonal relationship and communication skills, that is, he may not be able to communicate with the others, that is what he wants and what he exactly want to convey, the method he may not know. And passive academic involvement, there won't be any active involvement. Passive, that is, he is not interested in whatever is happening in the school. Even if the teacher is creative, you may see some children, that is, they are not at all interested. So this is deficit within the child is one of the challenge. Now let's talk about deficits within teachers. So we may not blame only the students, but sometimes the teachers are also not willing to teach. Failure to recognize the students' needs and difficulties. So each one, now these are special kids, so they will have different learning abilities and capabilities. So failure to recognize their needs and their difficulties, what exactly they want, the teacher may not know. And teaching methods not responsive to the student's characteristics. Let us suppose a student is a visual learner, that is, by looking he can understand better. By looking at charts or colorful pictures, he may understand better, the child. But the teacher the teacher will not have any interest to show any chart. He will be doing only lecturing method. Or the teacher will not cater to visual thing, maybe an auditory. So he is very good for an auditory learner. So teaching methods may not be for the students' needs and characteristics. And instruction not individualized, the same thing. Remedial instructions, that is what has been absorbed by the student, is not understood by the teacher, and he is not interested in doing any remediation. And supportive learning environment, that is proper seating and proper climate. Learning climate should be conducive. Learning climate should be created by the teacher in the class. If it's not there, then no child will be interested in learning. So when we talk about challenges, now we need to under the prospects also we have to see about successful inclusive education. So just now we saw deficit in a child, a deficit in teacher. Now how we can go ahead with that and get over all these deficits by capacity building in general education. So the teachers adequately trained and they are well equipped. Well equipped means when you go for a class, you need to have a proper lesson plan, proper charts and any visual materials. Okay, so well equipped teachers will be in a position to take care of the educational needs of special children. In the general classrooms, along with the availability of appropriate and disability specific assistive devices. So the school should provide the teacher appropriate and disability specific assistive devices. That is, for a blind person, we need whatever the needs, whatever the teaching aid for a blind person, for a deaf person. So the school has to give all those assistive devices for the teacher. So capacity building is number one. And need-based instructional strategies. Inclusive education can prove to be successful only with proper understanding of need-based of each child. That is, each child is special. Now, one may not, like I told you, like visual, auditory, projector. Let us suppose some active learning kids will be there. That is, they have to do it with their hands, only then they will understand. So some kids will be like that. So we need to understand and successful with proper understanding of need-based instructional strategies, and we need to implement the same. So we are talking about successful implementation of inclusive education. So for that we need manpower also and material resource. So the success of this program depends on how all departments concerned can effectively be involved in the total development of the child with disabilities. So what do you mean by the effective involvement of all departments? Effective involvement of all departments means nowadays, even in the Western countries, I should not say even in the Western countries, the Western countries, they have one special educator in every school. So likewise, even the CBSE have come upon with a program that each school should have a psychologist. And a clinical psychologist, of course, we have. So a teacher who is trained in B.Ed should also have an assistant who is trained with the special education, bachelor in special education. So all the departments, like one special educator, one teacher aide, should also be present so that the program will be a success, and it will be for the total development of the child with the disabilities. So not only the teachers, the learning strategies, and also the school, which gives a conducive environment, learning environment. Now next is parent and community participation. So parent should also be involved, not only parent, the teacher with the parent and the head of the school, and also community members. So community should also participate. Now next, child to child learning. Of course, we all know that peer help is a great help for a child, and the influence of non-disabled. So whenever we have inclusive classroom, we will have normal children along with the special children with disabilities. So the non-disabled normal children should also help with the children with disabilities. Now here, the normal learner will also be benefited by the child with a disability. So mutually they will have some benefits if they work together. Let us discuss the term about disability. Now this is not a universal concept, and it is not having a precise definition. Now, as we see, not everybody is perfect in all respects, like mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually also, morally. So the extent of imperfection is wild. Okay, means actually life is nothing but balancing between good and bad, positive and negative. So imperfection is life. So we cannot say that everybody is perfect. So physically, mentally, emotionally, morally, widely they differ person to person. Now this is called a kind of impairment, physical or mental. Now what is this? This makes it difficult for a person to do what other people are able to do. Now what is a physical impairment? Like let's suppose the other person is walking. Now if I cannot walk, then this is an impairment for me. That is, I have legs but I cannot walk. So it is a physical impairment. It may be understood as a significant loss or want of abilities. Want of abilities means I want to walk but I cannot walk. Temporary or permanent loss. It may be a temporary loss or it may be a permanent loss. It may be due to birth, due to disease, or some accident, or genetic causes, that is due to birth, or any other reason. World Health Organization, WHO. So they say from impairment comes disability, and from disability comes handicap. Now these three words, we say impairment, disability and handicap. Now what is an impairment? It is a loss or abnormality of any psychological, physiological or an anatomy, structure anatomy of that function. So a loss, it is not there. Okay, legs are there by birth but cannot walk. So it's an impairment. Now what's a disability then? It is a restriction or lack of ability to perform an activity in a manner or within the range considered normal for a human being. Let us suppose, like I'm 50 years old, now I have knee pain, now I cannot walk, so I have a disability to walk. So it's not an impairment, I can walk, but my walking is restricted, that is a disability. Now handicap. Now what is handicap? It's a disadvantage for a given individual resulting from an impairment or disability that limits or prevents the fulfillment of a role that is considered normal. Now it can depend on age, sex, social and cultural factors for that individual. Let us suppose I'm able to do something but I'm unable to do in that particular situation, then I'm handicapped. Okay, means in a meeting I can say something, that is I have ability to say, but I cannot overrule my boss, so I'm handicapped at that meeting. So it is like that. So impairment is total loss, disability is restriction, handicap is you have the ability but you have restricted, you have limited usage of that. So from impairment comes disability, from disability comes handicap. According to the International Labour Organization, ILO, disabled person means an individual whose prospects of securing, retaining and advancing in suitable employment are substantially reduced as a result of a duly recognized physical or mental impairment. So disabled person will have an inability to act as a normal person. In the revised classification, actually the term disability and handicap has been replaced activity limitation. So disability means activity limitation, handicap means participation restriction. So restricted to participate. So these days they have changed the terminology. Like we no more use physically handicapped, we say physically challenged person. And in the same way, mentally handicapped, we don't say now, we say mentally challenged persons. So now we are here for the 5-year plans for the disabled. Now the first 5-year plan started in 1951 and goes up to 56. A certain number of welfare agencies were working in the field, but of course that time we have only very little information and very little resources were there. So they didn't actually completely deal with the problem, work with the problem. Now the second 5-year plan from 57 to 61 was more focused on the education and training of the disabled. Actually they made many programs, and rehabilitation of persons suffering from incurable diseases were also found out, and the Ministry of Health Education, Ministry of Health was working with that. The third 5-year plan So they developed special services and facilities for physically and mentally challenged person, handicapped person we have written, especially those who are blind, deaf and dumb, okay, and orthopedically handicapped and mentally deficient. Now the fourth 5-year plan also recognized and provided social services to the handicapped and the destitute. That is, destitute means those who have nobody to look after. The government could only attempt limited tasks because they were not having much resources to do this work in full-fledged. So they ensure optimal benefits from both state and voluntary effort from various types of assistance. So monetary assistance they needed, and technical and administrative assistance they needed. So they wanted voluntary organizations to work with the state. Then came the fifth 5-year plan. This also continued with the programs for the blind, deaf and mentally retarded and everybody. So research on aids and appliances for the handicapped, and they thought about scholarships for the disabled and sheltered workshops and assistance. So sheltered workshops means boarding and lodging were given to them, so they can stay there now 24 hours, and they will be conducting workshops for all those disabled persons. And assistance to voluntary agencies in the field of welfare and development of the disabled was given. Now the sixth 5-year plan, it called for a comprehensive primary health care. So they started giving distribution of vitamin A and vitamin C tablets, and vitamin A specifically to prevent blindness among children. And intensive educational program also given for the prevention of accidents, like awareness program were created and aimed at creation of opportunities for integrated education. So before this inclusive education, we had integrated education, vocational training and economic rehabilitation in order to integrate the disabled with the mainstream of socio-economic life. What's the meaning of this? Rehabilitation in order to integrate the disabled. So let's suppose a normal child finishes 12th grade and he goes for earning some earning. Now likewise, a disabled person after finishing 12th, he should also go and earn something. So rehabilitation and goes into the mainstream of socio-economic life, like earning and living. Okay, so he will earn for his own life. So likewise, a disabled person also should have a vocational training. So the sixth 5-year plan, have an idea about this. Now seventh 5-year plan, they stressed that education and training, because in the sixth 5-year plan only they started thinking about getting the disabled into the mainstream of socio-economic stream. So this also stressed that education and training also should be given to physically handicapped. So they were encouraged to pursue education and also vocational training, and scholarships were given, stipends were given, books were given, uniforms were given. So a lot of help was given to the handicapped persons. Now 8th 5-year plan, prevention of disabilities. Now here they thought, okay, now how do we prevent these disabilities? So the vaccination, they thought of vaccination and strengthening the universal immunization, streamlining the nutrition services. So proper nutrition and giving proper vaccine and polio awareness and safety measures to prevent accidents and occupational or other accidents through better enforcement of the laws. So it was enforced through laws, and general awareness programs were also conducted in the families and community. So in the 8th 5-year plan, they thought, okay, the root cause to be found out. Now in the 9th 5-year plan, there is a paradigm shift in the approach to the issue of the disabled from one welfare to one of rights. Means till now they were thinking, okay, we are helping the disabled, but only in the 9th 5-year plan they thought, yes, it is their rights. It emphasized the process of empowerment of the disabled. That is, they also have the right to education and also for the training. So, creation of enabling environment for persons with disabilities to exercise their rights, and they will have equal opportunities. And this was taken by the government and non-government organization. Strengthening or expansion of special schools were there, vocational training programs were there with barrier-free environment. Now the 10th 5-year plan found the strategy of empowering the disabled adopted during the 9th plan to be effective in achieving the goals which has been set. Okay, so the disabled should also be empowered. They should also lead a normal life, and they should also come into the mainstream in the socio-economic life. 10th 5-year plan, this is from 2002 to 07, found the strategy of empowering the disabled adopted during the 9th plan to be effective in achieving the goals set. Now for this plan, 30,000 lakhs was set aside, and the following development was undertaken. That is, introduction of 5 years LLB courses and establishment of FM radio station, introduction of private university bill, financial assistance to all the affiliated non-government colleges, not all, only to 133, and 16 Sanskrit tools under the state priority schemes. The 10th plan laid emphasis on universalization of elementary education, guided by 5 parameters. That is, universal access. Everybody should have the access, and universal enrollment. All the children should be enrolled, and universal retention, universal achievement, and equity. Everybody should be equally treated and should be given a fair chance. And the important major programs under this: district primary education program, national program of nutritional support and midday meal schemes, teacher education schemes, and Kasturiba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya scheme, performance of SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and related schemes, and all the children to be in regular school, that is back to school camp by 2005. The 11th 5-year plan, that is 2007 to 12, it was in the period of Dr. Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister, to aim to increase the enrollment in higher education from the age group 18 to 23 years. It focused on distant education, convergence of formal, non-formal, distant education and IT education institutions, rapid and inclusive growth, poverty reduction was aimed, emphasis on social sector and delivery of service, empowerment through education and skill development. Also aimed at provide clean drinking water facility, increase agriculture growth to 4%, achieve 80% literacy rate, reduce gender gap in literacy to 10%, adult education and literacy. So the goals, targets and strategies for the 11th plan. 12th 5-year plan is 2012 to 2017 and beyond. Expansion, excellence and equity was the 3 key elements, 3 key words around which all the plans will be fabricated. Thank you.